Hello, everyone. My name's Megan,
And I'm Lauren.
and this is the Ask a Roofer podcast back again. And we're here with Jack and Chad. Hi, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Jack, why don't you start us out? You're with IKO. Just give us a little introduction and a little bit about you.
Sure. Yes, I oversee marketing for North America at ICO, but the most fun part of my job is that I also oversee our Roof Pro loyalty program. And my favorite thing to do as a part of running that program is to crisscross the country and meet just the most incredible roofers on the planet. And last week, I had the absolute pleasure of eating at a smokehouse with Chad. And we vibed on a lot of amazing ideas. And the first one that we are executing is to sit together on this podcast and rock the world. So here we are.
Yay. Chad, welcome. Where are you from? Where's this smokehouse that you guys were at?
It was downtown Nashville on Broadway. It's Jack's Barbecue. And but my name's Chad Rowland. I'm with RTM Roofing, based out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Beautiful.
Didn't know how deep you wanted to go down that rabbit hole. So
No, that's great. That's perfect. So today we're talking about curb appeal. So what is curb appeal?
that's an eye of the beholder, isn't it?
So true. So true.
That's the way I look at it. At least, I don't know, Jack, you want to go with that?
Sure. I think curb appeal is in the eye of the beholder. And as a manufacturer, it's our responsibility to make sure that we are manufacturing and making roofing materials, especially our shingles. Our performance class shingles, our Dynasty and Nordic shingles come in high definition colors. So we want to give people a wide color palette, a variety of colors across the color palette for them to put on their roof. And hopefully you have somebody with an eye like Chad who can advise them on what's going to match their siding, what's going to match the other houses on the block, what's going to go with their brick or whatever their home is made of, and really down to the details of your trimming and your fascia, right? What is going to make your house look perfect? How that roof can complement the entirety of the house so that it could really bring everything together.
No, I was just going to ask, what role does the roof play in a home's overall curb appeal?
That varies. And what I was going to say when Jack just talked about, yes, they come up with multiple colors, you know, you've seen the browns, the blacks, the greens, the blues, the reds, and all of that. But I leave it up to the homeowner. I treat RTM Roofing as we're not designers. Now, I know there's some people out there, but I can barely dress myself. My wife lays my clothes out. I didn't know you were supposed to wear, not wear plaids with stripes. So to me, when I said it was in the eye of the beholder, it is, because from my standpoint, I'm more concerned about functionality, performance, and installation. Because some houses we've been on, I'll give you a quick 2 minutes if you let me. It was about a 92-year-old gentleman, and he wanted, this has been 8 or 9 years ago, and he wanted a blue shingle. And I was like, sir, you sure you want a blue shingle? Do I need to speak with anybody else? Because when you're dealing with older people, I want to make sure that their children or whoever else don't think, we're trying to take advantage of them and things like that. And we don't. Well, my point was is that I came back. He said, no, I'm the decision maker. I said, yes, sir. We put the blue shingle on. I went out to pick up the check. The black shutters that I thought were black were royal blue, and they popped. And when I was saying that it's in the eye of the holder, I leave it up to the homeowner, usually the wife, because like my wife has showed me that you get one crazy. You put these one little bit of earrings on, it pops your shoes. You put, and that's what colors do in shingles. You put a weatherwood on, or the drift shake or the cornerstone in Dynasty, and it will pull out, or it'll come out of the roof or come out of your house. And my area, I'm not good at seeing that a lot of times. But I'm also the expert of telling them what they need. They may want a Ferrari, but I come down to what they need, and if they want the Ferrari, they can get that too. Sorry, that was a lot of stuff in 2 minutes.
No, I think that was really good. And the idea really behind that, where it all comes together, right? That roof complements the rest of the house, and where it all comes together as curb appeal is that when people are walking by, when they're standing on your curb and they're looking at your house, they're going to say, damn, that shingle looks good. I want to find the roofer who did that and hire him quickly.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And that just goes to show, and that kind of rolls into our next question of how the roof does play a significant role in a home's overall curb appeal. So if you have blue roof, maybe, blue shutter, even brighter blue shutters or whatever. So Jack, do you have anything else to add on how a roof plays into a whole home's curb appeal?
Yeah. So really, I think when a homeowner is looking at their roof, they're going to look at both form and function, right? They want to make sure that that roof is going to protect them from the elements, that that roof is going to keep them and their family and their belongings, the people they care about, the things that they care about, is going to keep them safe, is going to keep them dry. And then on top of that, it's not just about functionality. You also want it to be something that is beautiful and something that is complementary, like we mentioned earlier, to the other aesthetic features of the home. And a roof can at times be one of the largest parts of the home that you can see from the curb when you talk about curb appeal. So you want to make sure that you're picking the right style shingle, the right color shingle, and both in terms of form and function to make sure that it's going to look beautiful and act in a manner that it's going to protect.
Pretty good. And I agree with that. And then I still put it back to the roof overall. The curb appeal is one thing, of course, but you have to have a complete home to have a curb appeal. And without a roof, it's just 4 walls. It's not even a building. You can't get a mortgage on 4 walls. It has to have a roof. So when you take the whole complexity of the building envelope, as we call it, and you put all those different levels, anything newer will look good, right? And anything brand new looks good. It's the curb appeal comes to when you've still got that 1998 Nissan Maxima that you've never painted, still running, but it's faded, it's dull. So some would say, oh, that's not bad, but then you pop a new one on it, a new roof, buy a new car, buy the new Maxima, and then all of a sudden, wow, there's curb appeal. And that's the way I sort of look at it.
Yeah, the next thing you know, you're the envy of the neighborhood, right? See how easy that was? Boom.
If they would just maintenance their roof like they do their car, it'd be awesome. But
what do you mean by that, Chad? What do you mean maintenance their roof like they do their car? I mean, because at first blush, it wouldn't seem the cars or roofs are similar. So what do you mean by that?
And they're not. The one's a depreciating asset, and one appreciates your wealth, and that's your home. And so I guess too, let's say before I skip or squirrel, I'll squirrel easily. Sorry, y'all. But kick me back on that a little bit. I'm usually not used to getting interviewed. I'm normally doing the interview. What was the one part of that real quick?
You mentioned the car, right? So it's interesting, and I'm prompting you on this because we spoke about it last week, but how are a roof and a car similar? Because at first blush, it wouldn't seem that they are.
And we'll put it this way. You maintenance everything in your life, but most people never maintenance their roof. Everything requires maintenance. Here in Nashville, by Saturday, we're going to be in the low 40s. Well, it's 85 today. That's a 40-degree swing. Things move. So what I'm getting at is just because it's a 20-year roof, 30-year roof, 50-year roof, whatever they call them, doesn't mean you got a 100,000-mile warranty on your car. But unless you change the oil, rotate your tires, do basic maintenance, it's not going to function properly. And it's the same with your roof. You just never look up until it's dripping on you. So to relate it to the car is you will put you'll put 4 new tires on it for $1,200, but each tire's $300. Well, that's not quite a neoprene pipe boot, but it's close. And you'll complain about a $300 charge for a neoprene pipe boot that can crack and then leak down your pipes and leak in your house, but you'll buy those 4 tires in 3 seconds. I think it's more wants and needs. You want a lot, but what do you need? And so if they put the same respect into the maintenance of their roof as they do their car, they would get the longevity out of the roof a lot more than a lot of people are when they haven't had it changed or haven't had it even looked at in 5 years, 7 years, ever. And that's like driving your car and, to 100,000 miles and going to get an oil change. And it's a I don't know, a $10,000 bill. You're like, what? Oh yeah. There's a timing belt now. There's this, there's brakes. You haven't done any maintenance. So again, it's a marketing thing from the roofing industry. Like when I do my radio show, Renovation Nation, I'm always talking about we do complimentary inspections. They're not free. I hate the word free and fair. I was talking to you, Jack, about that. 2 worst words in the English language. Free, people will take free stuff, complain about it, and ask for more because there's no value to them. And fair, nothing's fair. Fair is an evil word. Fair is only fair if it's good for one side. It's like a seesaw. If I want to be on the bottom, is that fair? If I want to be on top, is that fair? It's only fair one side.
Sure. tell my kids about that. Yeah.
It's a win-win's way I look at it. So to go back to it, if people paid a little more attention to their roof in their home in general. I mean, give you a prime example. You change your oil in your car on average every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Well, you should touch up your caulking every 3 to 5 years, because you can have 30-year caulking. It'll be here in 30 years, but your window moved. And you want to walk around your house, look at the caulking around your windows. If that's rough, imagine what it looks like on your roof that takes the brunt of the weather 24/7, 365. Neoprene pipe boots, 5 to 10 years on average. They say 10, but I've seen them break at 5. Well, your tires on your car is 50 to 100,000 miles. You got to do maintenance. So I guess that's where I was going with a little bit on the car. Sorry, I'm long-winded sometimes. Hope it's a long podcast. Anyway.
This is great. No, that's all really valuable information and stuff that, people don't think about all the time. So back to some roofing materials. What are some of the most popular IKO roofing materials and styles that you've seen that can kind of instantly elevate a home's curb appeal?
You want that, Jack? Or you want me to take it?
Why don't you take it, and then I'll go ahead afterwards.
Okay. My preference is the IKO Dynasty. There's a lot of reasons for that. The number one, it's like you said, it's high definition. It's got more granule drops. It's a performance architectural. Number one, looks got to be there, but the functionality has to be the prime deal. I mean, if it's a purple roof, that's fine, as long as it's doing its job and repelling the water and staying on your roof. Then you can also go up to the Nordic if you want to get in class 4, and it's a beautiful shingle too. But then if you, what I call the Ferraris, your crown slate and your armor shake. Everybody wants a Ferrari, but do you need a Ferrari? Again, that's when we were talking about designing and all of that and colors at the very beginning. Some of my first questions are, what don't you like about your roof and what do you like? Well, and they'll say, well, I've looked at armor shake. I want to get armor shake. I'm like, okay, well, you've got a 15 square roof. It's, the cost, it's like buying a Ferrari. You want a Ferrari, but wait a minute. Do you need a Ferrari? What are you going to do? Are you going to be all driving around the racetrack, or are you going to be off mud? Right? So it goes back down to the functionality, and the Dynasty, IKO Dynasty is by far the best shingle it's on my roof.
There's no better endorsement than that, Chad. And that is exactly, our Dynasty shingles. We put performance at the heart of everything that we do at IKO. And so there is nothing pleases the ears more than to hear that our performance shingles are doing their job and performing. And we want to then take that to the next step. So no matter what it is that you're going to buy from us, if it's on our performance collection, which is the Dynasty and the Nordic that Chad described there, we want to make sure that they have all sorts of attributes that homeowners are going to associate with performance. That helps with curb appeal too. We want to make sure that they are impact resistant. The Dynasty shingle carries a class 3 impact resistance. The Nordic shingle has a polymer modified asphalt. It's got a class 4 impact resistance. That's the highest. Crown slate, like you mentioned before, is a designer shingle that's got a 10-inch exposure on it. It's a beautiful Ferrari. Not every customer in the world is buying them, but the homes that do feature Crown slate, they will blow you away. And we want to make sure that those have performance features as well. So that the Crown slate shingle also carries a class 4 impact rating, and the armor shake as well. The black and armor shake comes with the class 4 impact rating. The other 3 colors are a class 3. So if it's colors, if it's the wind resistance that the Dynasty and Nordic punch above their weight with the wind resistance, with the wind limited warranty that they carry 130 miles an hour. We want to make sure that if it's colors, if it's wind, if it's impact, no matter what it is, that we are putting performance attributes and features into our shingle so that they can both look beautiful and perform functionally for the homeowner. And for the roofer, I'll just add one last thing, right? Because the homeowner is great, but hopefully the homeowner won't need to think about buying a new roof again for a long time. Right. It's the roofer, like Chad, right? We want to make sure that RTM has confidence in IKO that when they put on that roof, it's a Ferrari or otherwise, that they have the confidence that they're not going to need to come back to that job site to fix it later. We want to make sure that we are mitigating the chance of there being challenges with that roof so that they're not coming back. They can put it on, get a positive review from that homeowner, let that homeowner competently recommend the RTM, and hopefully the ICO shingles to their friends, to their neighbors, to their family, so that he can then go ahead and just do more and more and more. That's really what it needs for us to work together and thrive together.
I love that. And also, the roofer doesn't want to go back to that site, but also the homeowners don't want them coming back. I mean, it's probably not a big deal because RTM is an amazing company.
Well, not for
But
a week anyhow.
yeah,
You
but
got that.
ideally you don't want, to see them again.
Well, till next year. Till next year, even a brand new roof, you call me back next year to make sure everything's performing properly. And what I mean by that is I tell people we offer a 5-year labor warranty on our work. Okay. The reason we do that is because a 10, a 20, a 30, that's all to me just words, because you'll know, even a layman that's never changed the roof, and I've run into a lot of people from 20 years old to 70 years old that only changed one roof in their life when they were growing up, and their parents did it, because people move within 10, 15 years on average, and roof lasts longer than that. But now I'll just leave it there because I know y'all want to go about more Kirkpill. I go on to but hang on. When we do a 5-year labor warranty, what I mean is even a layman, when they're done, can walk outside and look at your roof, and you'll know if something's not right. I mean, just even a layman can do that. Something, shingles are shifted, something, it just doesn't look right? You give me, and after I call them frog killing rains, you give me a couple frog killing rains, and you've not had any water entry. That's a good thing. I always say that's a great thing. Now, you give me 4 seasons in our market in Nashville down here, we get, summer, spring, fall, winter, all of it combined, big, we're dropping 40 degrees in 4 days. And you give me a year and there's not been any issue and everything's still doing what it wants. By the year 5, there are odds. It could be a labor issue. It could be a manufacturer issue, but they are so minuscule, it's not funny, in my opinion.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And that's why we love ICO. So do you have any advice for homeowners going about choosing the right roofing material and style for their specific home and their curb appeal preferences? Are there questions they should ask their contractor or a manufacturer?
So I'll go first, and then Chad, maybe you could pipe in afterwards. So one thing that we offer is our Roof Viewer tool, Roof Viewer, which essentially enables homeowners to have a look at what these shingles look like. It's like AI, right? It'll replicate what shingles look like on a house, and you could even upload a picture of your own house to then kind of try on the shingles to see what they'll look like. It's not perfect. We always recommend that you have a look at the shingles in real daylight, not just a sample board, but real shingles to really understand what the color is going to be. And you could have a look on the ICO website as well to really understand what the shingle colors are going to look like. But we are in an age where homeowners are now able to do more research than ever and more prep work than ever to really educate themselves on that roofing process. And I think that it's smart. I mean, Chad, you tell me what's it like when you have a homeowner that knows what questions to ask? I'm imagining that makes the process easier and more enjoyable for you.
Well, I love it, actually. The more questions you ask, the better you're going to understand. And when we start off, what questions should they ask? Well, in part of my opinion, it's a double-edged sword, is the contractor, me, should go out there and ask you questions about, first, what are you wanting? What's your issue? What are you looking for? And then based on your specific home, because they're all like fingerprints, give or take here or there, then we advise you, here's the materials. You can look at Dynasty. You can look at, you're in a high wind rating area. There's the Nordic. There's this. And then once I get you the information, you come back with questions. Now you've got information. You've studied it. Now you've got what I call educated questions instead of just, hey, I'm wanting a reindeer on my roof too, whatever. But to me, that's what it's about. It's really up to the contractor to make sure the homeowner understands what they're buying. And
because there are fewer surprises there also, right?
Exactly. I make our homeowners at least my guys do too. Before we put the new roof on, I make them walk around their house and look at all the imperfections in their home already. Because it's just like a new car. You'll notice the first scratch on a new car. You don't notice the second one. And they've been living there 5, 10, 15 years. They didn't know it had automatically had waviness in it. And maybe it was a 3-tab and it really stuck out. And sometimes an architecture will hide that and sometimes it exacerbates it. But I can't tell you how many calls I've had. That's why I implemented this of, hey, something's not right on my roof. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back out. Let's look. I've got pictures. It looks great. And I get out there and I'm like, oh, no. Here's previously, there's the waviness in your deck and it's still there. But they'd never seen their house. They really haven't, because I can walk into a home and there'd be a bare wire sticking out of a wall, right? I mean, electrical, just ready to shock you. It's been there for 5 years. They don't know about it because they're sensory adapted to it. I walk in, it's brand new to me. I spot all the imperfections real quickly. So when a homeowner's going to ask to bring it back around, what questions? First, they have to know what their house is and is there anything wrong with it? What can we do to it to correct that or not correct that? So things like that. I think I answered that right. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
Definitely. So we have some information on Ask a Roofer about like color trends and roofing. So what role do these color trends play in roofing choices, and what's a good way for homeowners to, stay updated, know what these color trends are, or, understand how the color of your roof affects the rest of your home and the look?
do you want that one first or you want me?
After you, Chad, hit it.
Okay. Well, a couple things. Like he talked about their viewer. And then there are other tools out there if you just don't happen to use their viewer or not use their viewer that you can do to see what your home will look like. Secondly, we're starting to implement a lot of things, but go to our website, okay, and look at homes we've done. And Jack and I were actually talking the other day, and I'm working on something. They've been working on something. I don't know what they'll release whatever they do when they do it. But some of the things I'm going to be doing or want to do is people's got red brick on their house, and they want they're torn between Cornerstone and Glacier. They're just not for sure, right? I can take 2 shingles out, 3 shingles out and show them they're still not for sure, so they want to see a house. Well, go by and see it in real life. You got to see it in real life at one point. If not, here's you a home that we just did. Call it a drone, call it pictures, call it whatever with red brick. Oh, you got white brick. Here's the same roof with white brick in all the combinations. So, but when it comes to what color choices that the market's leading, I think that's where IKO's on top and has to get that feedback whatever way they mine it. I guess if a certain color's not selling, why? It's a beautiful color, but why is no one buying it? And if a color's really selling, what other variations can we do of that? Maybe they don't like the red speckles in it or whatever, purple speck, whatever it is, right? I love his shingle, but if it didn't have that, I love all those other colors. So to me, that's where their innovation helps us out, because there's nothing worse than I love that shingle, but it's then I'm like, well, okay, well, we got to go over here now then, because I've got nothing else in my lot. But it really goes down to the data mining and to me what's selling, what just looks good. I mean, it's hard to mess up a roof in my opinion. I've never had an unhappy customer when it came to color, because I can't put it on, let you see it, and take it off, and put another one on. I can,
Right.
but it's for the price of the same one. So,
Yeah.
As my wife says, it's 50. It's a half off sale, buy one get the other at the same price. So that's where I go to. I love what they've been doing with the dynasty of the variation and the pop and the high definition as they call it. But I love their Cambridge too, and there's nothing wrong with their Cambridge. It's got a more monolithic tone to it, because tastes vary. My wife loves variegated. Sometimes I like monolithic. And there's, and then I put that in the soup bowl of everybody out here, and you get all kinds of answers.
That's such a great answer. And yes, Cambridge remains a beautiful shingle. I was just with someone last week who said that they prefer it. The key word that you used there that I love is data mining. And that's where the internet is such a great equalizer, because in the past, what roofing manufacturers have always had was that at the end of the year, you can kind of look at a list to see which colors sold where and what did best. But what we are working on now, and I'll tease this project, is the first time we're ever announcing it. So we're breaking news on Roofers Coffee Shop, is that we are getting ready to release a video for each and every color that we have, real life drone video, 30 seconds for every color that we have across all of our lines. And when you put that online, right, you're going to be able to see what comments people from different areas of North America are going to have about that, and to really compare and contrast and create a roofing community for homeowners across North America to be able to be inspired. And I think that that's a really cool thing too, because we are, I like to think that IKO is a company that offers a global network but local support. So we're able to sit with Chad, talk to him in his language, his culture, make sure that we have shingles that are going to stand up to the Four Seasons weather in your market, Chad. But we also want to leverage the fact that we are a global player and let your customers really understand what people are thinking outside of Tennessee, outside of that area of the United States, and perhaps get inspired there. So we want to really bring it all together. And I think that once we launch this project on YouTube later this year, it'll be one big step towards that.
Wow, that is really exciting. And I know for a fact Ask a Roofer wants to share that out as well, so all of our homeowners out there listening can see those videos, because that's really exciting. So kind of pivoting with our question here, how can homeowners incorporate sustainability, as that is, becoming very popular, as it should, and energy efficient roofing options to enhance curb appeal so they can also save on energy?
You're not going to like my answer. The reason I say
Hit me,
this,
Chad.
I'll take this one first. The reason I say this, I understand exactly what you're talking about. I actually have my master's in agricultural sciences. But sustainability is very, very important. There's no doubt about it. Because anything unsustainable, what's the definition of the word? It's just not going to be here. But I always say, now I've always seen the cool colors and the, energy efficient and this and that. But that goes back to every home too. You got multiple, it's a building envelope. It's not just a roofing system. A roofing system is part of the building envelope. And that's insulation in the walls, in the house, the ACs, is everything calibrated, because it's like an engineering masterpiece when you break it. And every home, by the way, is different. But the one thing I always say, because people are like, well, is the dark colors hotter? Is the lighter colors lighter? And I'm like, well, this is all I can say from my experience. If you blindfold me in the middle of August here in Nashville and put me on a roof, and I take my glove off and stick it on it, I can't tell you what color it is. The reason I say that, because it's the asphalt. This is my personal opinion. I'm not an engineer and all that stuff, at least not today, that it's the asphalt that the radiant energy heats up. There's where your heat's stored. The granules aren't hot. It's the asphalt or the filler and the matting and all of that. And there may be something out there, but any attic I've ever been into, I don't care. It's 110 to 140 degrees. Now, you put a white shingle on there or a cool shingle, is it going to cool at 5 degrees? I've never seen that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen somewhere, but so when it comes to efficiency, I think the roof is the last part of that. And the reason I say that, because if you're getting heat into a bonus room, right, that upstairs bonus rooms that people have that's got vaulted ceilings and this and that, and you're properly ventilated, and by the way, in my opinion, ventilation on a roof is not meant to cool your house. It's meant to cool the shingle, cool the roof deck, and cool the shingle to prevent blistering. So if you've got a temperature problem, you most likely have an insulation problem. Now, you could have a ventilation problem too, because I've seen that where they didn't cut out for the ridge vents, but put ridge vents on, and the heat rises when air moves, but the heat made it all the way down through the insulation and rained condensated water out of their air conditioner return that blew it out of the ceiling. Why was that? Well, it was because the hot air couldn't get out and stay moving. So when it comes to sustainability, I think you start with your insulation in your home. If that's right, then you're only complementing it with the roof of whatever these cooler colors and everything else that's out in the market, which is great. I love it. But just by doing that alone, it's not going to be a game changer, in my opinion. At least I haven't seen it in my market. Now, if it is, I'm open to it. I'm more power to it. But again, it's just between 130 and 128. That's like between anything over 100 miles an hour. You got enough problems.
Yeah, it's hot either way.
It's hot. That's right.
It's really freaking hot.
I totally agree with Chad that a full utilizing a full roof system, right, getting that vented, getting that insulation, getting those vents right, is a vital part of roofing. In fact, when we created our Blueprint for Roofing YouTube series, which is our most popular series on YouTube, it's A to Z, soup to nuts, installation instruction video series for how to install a roof. And we included a piece on venting. And we don't make vents, we don't sell vents, but we did that because of the importance of it, right? The importance of doing that system properly. And we showed how to install three different types of vents. And insulation also extremely important. So yes, you need a well-ventilated attic. You need insulation that is going to protect your home. But the thing about, really, to get directly to your question, is that in some areas of the country, government is getting involved and not giving a choice. So for example, California has laws that it has enacted about the types of shingles, demanding cool shingles that can be installed. And it is up to us as a manufacturer that if we're going to play in that market, that we need to have shingles that can comply with that. And also to be forward thinking, right? To think long term and think about the fact that, okay, if it's California today, who is it going to be tomorrow? So we want to make sure that we have shingles that can comply with these laws should they exist.
Yeah.
And here's part of your sustainability as well. I can't tell you how many homes I've been on that'll have some box vents, 750 box vents. Then another section of the home that there's not a firewall, it's not a condominium or townhouses. Then it has ridge vents. Then you go over on the backside, and I'm not going to say the I guess contractor other than roofing that decided to put a solar powered vent on it because they said it was too hot in the attic. So now you just take a straw and punch 3 holes in it and try to drink something. And that leads you to without having intake. A lot of these older homes around here in the 50s, there are no eaves. So how you get air in? They have the older homes, pre-air conditioned, were meant to vent and cool themselves by the way the houses were built. Well, nowadays, I sometimes say, even with ridge vents and box vents and turbines, you can't get hot air out of these suckers without even blowing it out of them. Because some of these architects out there, no offense, they're great guys, and girls and ladies, but I think they get a bet together to see how many peaks they can put on a house. And so you got to have intake with a proper outtake. And there's some variation in that, but by putting, I need 15 more vents. No, you don't. You're just moving hot air faster. It's the same temperature.
Yeah.
So
practicality will just come and smack you in the face eventually, right?
Yeah. So if you've got enough ridge line and put a ridge vent on it, and I love the physics of it. It's the water molecules that draw the air out. It's not the hot air rising. It's the water molecules because you're breathing, you're washing, you're showering. That goes through your whole home. And that's why I hate I know it's codes, putting 2 layers of shingles on a home. To me, that's insane. Because you just depleted the life of the top shingle by half because you smothered it. Mm-hmm. So, and then you get it hot, and then it blisters. But there are codes for 2 layers. I get it. But back then, when they really invented, in my opinion, that was when they had 2x6 true oak sawmill cut rafters that could hold 2 layers of shingles without warping and bowing and delaminating. So, anyway, I skipped. I'm sorry, I squirreled.
No, that's great. I think you made a really interesting point too. There's the whole roof system that works together to make sure that, you stay warm and dry and protected, but it's the whole house system too that has to work together.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's vital.
Yeah. And before I got into roofing, I didn't realize all of the parts of the system of a roof, let alone a house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing the caulking around the people's windows. When I walk around getting our pictures, we document everything. And I'm always looking at the windows like I was talking about the caulk. I don't use 30-year caulk because they did on that window and it's still there, but your window's now moved and you've got a gap I can put my knife all the way through. So, it's more complicated than people think, but it's not when you've got somebody that can come out and explain it to you and at least understand what's going on and see how you can mitigate it and get it back in balance.
Right. Absolutely. So what are some, in your experiences in the industry, what are some mistakes or maybe issues or design choices that you've seen that can decrease curb appeal in a home?
Okay, I'll take that. I'll run that for a minute. One thing that's not really taking away curb appeal, but there's an answer to it. It's like 3 tabs. Everybody knows traditional 3 tab used to be the 20-year, now it's 25-year. There's not much cost difference between a 3 tab in Cambridge, a 3 tab in Dynasty, right? But if you want that traditional colonial, older style flat look, let's step you up to the floor and get Crown Slate. Because to me, to save $500 to not do an architectural, and maybe you spend another $1,500 to get the Crown Slate or whatever that number may be, it's well worth it to get the same improvement. In other words, I don't want to go buy a Nissan Sentra sports version. I would soon have, a Lexus RX 350 or whatever, Super Sport, whatever they are. So when it comes to curb appeal, it's having an old roof that's never been maintenance and nothing else. Your gutters, your siding, your soffit, your fascia, your corners are dripping. I mean, there's a lot of things other than the roof that will break that curb appeal down. You can have a brand new roof, then look at the rest of the house. It's, the roof looks great, but the house is about to fall apart.
Jack, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would add that people shouldn't discount the role that curb appeal plays into the resale value of the home as well. And Chad's, what you were saying really made me think of that too. First of all, sometimes insurance is going to play a role in that, but I'm not even going to touch that one today. I'll just say, really, just in terms of curb appeal, how the home looks, forgetting even how the roof functions, just how the home looks. If you have if you're looking to move and you're looking to sell your house and you put that investment in to get a new roof, it is remarkable sometimes the amount of value of resale value on your home that could turn into.
Especially if you do it pre-appraisal. Now in Nashville, this
Exactly.
exploding, right? And now I've worked with over 300 or 400 or 500 realtors, and I won't get on the insurance thing either. That's a whole series. But I found the 3 top things that are usually negotiated on a home. Number 1, the foundation. That's a given. If you don't have a good foundation, you can't build anything. The second is the AC, and the third is the roof. Well, I grew up without one of them. I didn't grow up without the other of those last 2. I grew up without an AC for a while, but I never grew up without a roof. And I found that the realtor and the homeowner, if they get preemptive, if the roof is old, if it does need replacing, if all that good stuff, they will actually make money on it. In other words, they will buy a $20,000 roof because that's what the market is. That's what it's supposed to be on that house, but it'll improve the value 30, 40. I mean, it varies.
Exactly.
It varies.
Exactly.
I never heard anybody losing money by updating the roof before they sold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that is so true. I've had friends, actually, a friend that sold her house and she had new roof, new landscaping, and she sold it for double what she bought it.
Yeah.
Within like 2 years. So it wasn't like a long period of time that it had to just gain. So yeah, really.
Curb appeal.
Does so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Curb appeal. It's the real deal. Yeah.
And it takes
is
you
the
time
real
for
deal.
all the, well, we need 30,000 knocked off. We need this knocked off. There's no arguments other than
Right.
the penny ante stuff, or the light switch doesn't work. Well, that's easy. Knock $50 off, get a guy out there, $100, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, the roof is important. It really is.
So do you two have some memorable before and after transformations where roofing upgrades made a big difference in a customer's curb appeal?
I actually prepared and can show you something. If I hit my share button, I'm assuming it shows you. So if I go to
Yes.
screen and I go here, so I'm assuming you can see it on the screen, right? Can you see what I've shared? Oh, hang on, right here. Right there. Can you see that?
Oh, yes.
Nope.
Yes.
There it is.
It's
Okay.
loading.
Okay, is it still
yeah.
loaded? Let me know when you see it. You got it?
Yep.
This was a house. It's a gentleman, Mr. Ross in Brentwood, and they were from California and bought it just basically sight unseen, pretty much like everybody does out here. And it's a huge house. And I was trying to find some good pictures, but this is the best. This is when I first got there. There it is. It's got like a weatherwoodish shingle on it and all this stuff. Well, we've been talking about the roofing, but also you have to remember, let me see if I can go back correctly here. You also have to remember the other accessories that go about your curb appeal, the flashing detail. Now, not always the biggest about copper, but in this case, it really worked, and they end up reskimming all this, but that's a glacier shingle, as you can see right there. But, that's beautiful, but watch this. Look at that now with dark bronze gutters, and I don't have a better picture of the whole thing, but the glacier going from this to that. And they also reskimmed the ethos, the drive it, and dark bronze gutter, and we put dark bronze coping up top there. I mean,
And it's a world of a difference.
it's a $1 billion home. It's definitely a 7-digit home, but it increased 6 more digits big time. Actually, a lot of 6 digits of what he did to it, just from the outside, starting with the roof down. Because here's your other thing. It's a good thing to know for all your listeners out there. And again, thank you for having me on today. And Jack, thank you for the invite as well. Is that you've got to know, now I'm starting to squirrel here because I got this bright light on me and stuff, but if you're going to do renovations on your home, start with the roof. If the roof's fine, great. Because I can't tell you how many people just start painting and doing stuff, and then all of a sudden the roof is 12, 15 years old, it's got nail pops, it's got bad pipe boots, and as soon as they spend thousands, it leaks. I always start from the top down. That's any advice I would give anybody thinking about renovating anything on their home, because you're going to have to do it again. Why have to paint that ceiling again? That's money, you know. So, anyhow,
That transformation is amazing.
oh yeah, I'll go back now. I can delete out of this now. But I just wanted to show you that because that was a good question.
And it gets people excited too. I think that's the other thing. I mean, to directly answer your question, we have a bunch of that. We do that on our Facebook page all the time. And Chad, I hope that you'll tag us on Facebook, tag ICO, and any roofers out there, either tag ICO or use hashtag ICO Roof Proud so that we can share your pieces. But that is also the emotional aspect of all of this as well. When you're sitting with someone and they're about to spend a ton of money on this project, this home improvement project, it gets them excited, right? Because that's a scary thing to spend all that money. But then when you show them some of the before and afters, so they can see that, okay, my home is the most valuable asset that I have. It's the biggest investment that I have. This improvement work that I'm going to do on it now is going to, oh my goodness, it can have that big of a difference. It's inspiring. It gets people excited about it. It's great.
100%.
Yeah, that's fun. And it's fun to see those transformations, you know, online and on social media. And like you said, get people excited about their roofs. Is there anything else you think homeowners should know about Curb Appeal and their roofs?
Trust your gut. Trust your gut. That's what I would say, is that if it doesn't look right, like you see it right now and you want it different, change it. You know, that's, if your gut usually doesn't lead you wrong, that I found out.
Find an expert like Chad. That would be my advice. No, I mean it. Yep. Seriously, call RTM Roofing. Find someone who's a roof pro in your neighborhood to come out and talk to them, because if they do this day in, day out, and it's the first time that you're ever doing this. I mean, Chad, let me ask you a question. How often are your homeowner customers, is it the first time they're going through an experience like this of getting a new roof?
A lot. Now, again,
a lot.
A lot. But I would say if I was putting a percentage on it, 60, 70%.
Yeah, 60, 70%. So if that's you, and likely it is, find someone who really is an expert. Find someone who does this day in and day out. Find someone who's been in business for a while, that is going to be reputable, that you're going to be able to, we don't anticipate any problems, but if there's ever something that happens, you want someone who is reputable. You want someone who's going to pick up the phone. You want someone who's accountable. And I'm just so happy that, Chad, now you and I hesitated. You thanked me for inviting you on a minute ago. I hesitated to reply because you're in trouble. This is going to be the first of many opportunities that I'm going to nail you with, that I'm going to ask you to do together with me, because
I do stuff in your house or your apartment or your condo, wherever you're at up there. I already got stuff in the closet. We're about to be roommates.
It's great.
I have no idea what can of worms you opened up. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And there's no better host of Rippers Coffee Shop. So
oh yeah, definitely. This is awesome.
Yay. Well, lastly, Jack, for all those homeowners out there that are listening and have fallen in love with ICO, and are looking for an ICO certified contractor, where can they find those people?
So we encourage people to find a contractor right there on our site, ICO.com. It'll take you to our North American shingle site. The first thing that's going to pop up is going to be a question of, are you a homeowner looking for a roofer? If you're in Nashville, pump in your zip code, and RTM is going to come up right there at the top of the list. Find them, get a quote online. It's a program we have called Roof Pro Works that goes across North America, that is going to help our roof pros get leads, and help homeowners find ICO roof pros wherever they are.
That's amazing. Well, gentlemen, thank you both so much for chatting with us. I know I learned a lot. I loved seeing the before and after. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Yes, thank you. Very informative.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes.
The reason I'm an ICO fan, because shingles are like cars. There's Ford, Chevy, Dodge, right? I mean, they're all great cars. They're all get 200,000 miles. You'll just ride a lot easier along the way in the ICO car, I call it. But here's the kick. When there's an issue, it's not ever if. There's always a when. When your house will leak. It will one day. It just will. All I got to do is call my rep, which is Tate. And his next level moment, he's out there looking, because these things are made with machines. machines sometimes drop granules a little different. But I've never seen the response that I've seen from ICO whenever there is an issue. There's been very few, but when they were, it was resolved, solved, and done. So that's when you said earlier, if you don't know what you're doing, get on and search. Find somebody that's going to give you a contract. Find somebody that's going to write down everything they're doing and say what they're responsible for, what you're responsible for, because that's huge. That's really huge. When you get that little handwritten paper, it'll be $39.99, and hand it to you. It's not, the products are all great, but it's how many times when I do have an issue, do I have to get a hold of this person for them to come out and help me? And that's what you're really paying for. And then the products back it up after that. So there you go. But I love ICO. Yeah. Go Dynasty.
Yay.
That's awesome, Chad. Thank you very much. And we pride ourselves on getting good, responsible reps really throughout the country. And that's our job, right? When we say ICO loves you back, that starts with having performance products that are going to do what they're designed to do, which is work more, and to have a sales rep that's going to be there to help you no matter what you need. So that's wonderful. Thank you really for all the kind words that you have said throughout this podcast, and we will continue to push ourselves to live up to the highest expectations in the world, which are yours, all of yours.
True.
Love it. Well, again, thank you both so much for chatting with Lauren and I today. This has been the Ask a Roofer podcast. For all of those listening right now, go check out the ICO directory on Ask a Roofer and on Roofers Coffee Shop. And you can find out more about RTM Roofing on the ICO website and on their directory. So go check it out, and we will be seeing you next time on the Ask a Roofer podcast.